few weeks ago, I started a journey to listen to all of Madonna in chronological release order, starting with her debut album, which is right here behind me, that I really, really enjoyed, her self titled debut album from 1983. And now today we are listening to Like a Virgin, her sophomore album from 1984, only a year later. And I just got off of listening to a single, Into the Groove, that did not make this album, but was released as a single around the same time and was not put on the American version of this one. So Into the Groove is not on the version of this album I'm about to listen to right now, but that reaction is actually already available if you want to check that out. And I think my experience with that in terms of my familiarity is going to be similar to my experience listening to this album, because looking at the track list, looking at the track list for her debut album, I didn't know really anything except for Holiday. I'm familiar with that song. Looking at this one right away, Material Girl, yeah, I know that song. That's not going to be a first time listen. Like a Virgin, one of her biggest songs. I will say, similar to Into the Groove, don't know if I've actually ever listened to Like a Virgin in its entirety, but I know it's a Madonna song, one of her most famous, and I'll probably know the hook. But that one I don't know if I've listened to in its entirety. And then as I go down the rest of the 9 tracks here, I actually don't know any by name that stick out, so it will be mostly brand new, but I would not be surprised if we get to some of these tracks and I do know them, or am I familiar with them, because obviously Madonna is a hugely popular artist, and even though I've never sat down and listened to her, I've heard her, out in the ether in my lifetime. So we will see. But Material Girl and Like a Virgin are the only two that pop out, as I know it won't be my raw first time hearing them. But I am really excited to hear that progression in her career after listening to the debut album for the very first time. How I like this one compared to that, how I like the evolution of that sound. When I listened to Into the Groove, I already felt that it was a new sound, a kind of a new version of her. I don't want to quite say a straight up improvement, because I really like that debut album, but definitely different. So I'm excited to listen to it. I listen to all of these music reactions live over my Patreon, where you can listen along with me in full, and then they get posted full and uncut to my Patreon for my paying members before coming here edited to YouTube. So you can check those out over there. First, let's take a look at the artwork for this album. It's Madonna in a dress. I like the debut artwork. I like this one too, but they're simple. It's Madonna on the cover. A lot of specifically female artists, but a lot of artists, just have their cover be themselves. That's cool. My personal preference is to have more of an artwork design, even if you include yourself on it. More of an artwork design, just something to think about, or to thematically tie into the album. But that's just a personal preference thing. I'm just saying this isn't bad. It's just that there's not a lot to analyze here. It's nice. Okay. I actually liked the artwork for that Into the Groove track, or it might have been the Angel artwork actually, because it was the B side of that. That was a nice picture. But okay, here we go. Headphones on. Allie says, the first time I saw the music video for Material Girl, I remember thinking, I want to be her. So you could say it's a pretty seminal track for me. Hey, that makes sense. Well, we're about to find out, because I have heard this song absolutely in my life. As a matter of fact, it might be, now that I think about it, besides Hung Up, it might be the only other Madonna song that I can confidently say, like, yeah, I've listened to this entire track. Like, I've sat down and listened to it. But let's give it a listen to start off this album. Material Girl is an opening track on the album? That's interesting. Let's give it a listen. Okay, here we go. Like a Virgin, 1984. Ooh. Some guitar in there. In a material world. Hey, nothing wrong with that. You gotta appreciate the self-awareness. Whose voice is this? All right, all right. Well, Allie says, maybe I shouldn't have admitted that a song about making men buy you things is so influential on me. Well, hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that at all. I respect it. I respect it. You got to be, you know, I respect Madonna to come out and say it. Look, I love the line here in the first verse where she says, some boys kiss me, some boys hug me. I think they're okay. If they don't give me proper credit, I just walk away. That's good. That's a good double meaning there. Um, yeah, look, at the end of the day, it's a simple song. You gotta have money, you gotta buy me shit because that's what I deserve. And hey, fair. The male voice in a session vocalist named Frank Sims. Oh, is a session vocalist named Frank Sims. Okay, good to know. Good to know. For an opening track, it's fun. It's poppy. It's catchy. I think Sixto said perfect formula, exposure, repetitive, catchy chorus, simple, danceable. I definitely think some more like Into the Groove. I would have been more into if they were both on the radio at the same time. But not really a first time listen for me here with Material Girl. So there's also that piece of it. But all right, up next, track number 2, Angel. Oh, this is dreamy. Wow, nice. What instrument is this? I like that. Oh, nice. That's a synth? Okay. Kind of almost reminiscent of the opening track on her first album. What was that called? Star? What was it? Star Girl or something? Lucky Star? All right. On that one, yeah, it definitely was a little bit reminiscent to me of Lucky Star in the sense of like dreamy production and instrumentation, a little bit repetitive in the lyrics. Not that that's good or bad, but simple in the lyrics and in the hook, a little bit catchy. This one's about obviously being so infatuated with this person, they're like an angel. I really like the line where she says, "I can't hear the traffic rushing by, just the pounding of my heart," and that's why like your heart is pounding so loud you can't hear anything around you, even rushing traffic. I like that. Other than that, yeah, it was fine. Not one that like was a highlight to me of compared to her debut album, but we'll see. But enjoyable. All right, up next. Okay, so up next we have the title track at track 3, Like a Virgin. This is completely random, but um, I've always found track spot number 3, regardless of however many tracks you have on your album. I guess an EP is a little bit different, but if it's an album, if it's like 7 or more tracks, I've always thought track number 3 is the like toughest spot on an album. Don't even ask me to explain that. I've just always gone in track 3 is tough. So, Like a Virgin title track number 3. I guess it did not fall victim to that. But let's go. What is that string picking in the background? Almost like a plucking. All right. Like I said at the start, I have heard this one before, so not a very first time listen. I will say though, in the context of this album so far, obviously this is the title track, but thus far I mean, I'm only 3 tracks in. I don't want to judge it quickly on what I'm about to say, but it feels as if these first 3 songs, the production of them, they feel very similar, which isn't a bad thing necessarily. But like for example, like going from Angel to this song, I probably could have just faded those songs together. Like, and that's not a bad thing. It's just interesting to me coming off of her debut album, where it feels like we're getting a very kind of through line of what the sound of the album is. Maybe that'll change up as we go along. I just found it interesting in contrast to her debut album. Overall, the song is obviously one of her classics. Of what I've heard from her so far, I wouldn't say it's my favorite or near the top. John in the chat was saying it very controversial at the time because of the subject matter. I do understand that, but ironically, despite the main hook of saying, like a virgin for the very first time, other than that, I think this is a very safe song compared to some of the ones from the last album, like Burning Up and such. So I find that a bit ironic, but maybe because this one was released as a single, maybe I had that. All right, up next, Over and Over, track number 4. Okay, here we go. All right, now we're switching it up.
Hurry up, I just can't wait. I gotta do it now, I can't be late. I know I'm not afraid, I gotta get out the door. If I don't do it now, I won't get anymore. You try to criticize my drive. If I lose, I don't feel paralyzed. It's not the game, it's how you play. And if I fall, I get up again. I get up again, over and over. I get up again, over and over. I get up again, over and over.
Seems like a good treadmill song.
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. I just can't wait. I gotta do it now, I can't be late. Hurry up, I get up again, over and over. I get up again, over and over. I get up again, over and over. I get up again, over and over.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I gotta be, obviously I gotta be honest with these. I mean, yeah, I didn't really groove with that one. Not that it was like bad or anything necessarily. I just, it was fine. It was fine. I mean, I don't know. The kind of the vibe I'm getting from this album so far is different than her first one, which is good in the sense that I like when artists evolve and do different things. And I'm usually not really a fan when like I hear an album that I like and then I go to the next one and it sounds exactly the same. Even though some artists, they have their sound and it is what it is. But I do like variety. So it is different than the first album, but I don't know. I don't know what it is exactly, but so far all of these songs have just been fine. Like I haven't really like gotten into any of them and like, "Oh yeah," you know what I mean? Maybe that's because I already have heard 2 of the 4 that I've listened to for so far. Material Girl and Like a Virgin were not new to me, so maybe that's playing into it. But like Angel and now Over and Over, I don't know. I just didn't really nothing about them really like hooked me in. They were perfectly listenable. They were perfectly fine. Um, but like Over and Over, for example, as a track, if I was just shuffling through music and over came up, I probably would skip it personally, unless I was like working out or I was on a treadmill or something. I could see that it had a nice fast paced BPM, it, you know. But outside of that scenario, I mean, yeah, it was very repetitive and simple, which is fine. Um, So yeah, we'll see as it goes on. I mean, I'm gonna be honest in these reactions. It is what it is. I've loved listening to Madonna so far. So I have to be honest when something doesn't hook me in. But yeah, we'll see. Up next is we're getting to track number 5, which I guess would be technically about halfway through. It's 9 tracks, an odd number. But Love Don't Live Here Anymore. Almost 5 minutes. There we go.
You abandoned me. Love don't live here anymore.
There we go.
Just a vacancy. Love don't live here anymore. When you lived inside of me, there was nothing I could conceive that you wouldn't do for me.
Ooh.
Just a vacancy. Love don't live here anymore.
All right, yeah, I'm into this so far. Oh, here we go. Nice build up.
Love don't live here anymore. Just emptiness and memories of what we had before. You went away, found another place to stay, another home. You abandoned me. Love don't live here anymore. Just a vacancy. Love don't live here anymore.
Really showing off her vocals on this one. I like it.
Love don't live here anymore.
Nice. Great drums.
Love don't live here anymore. You abandoned me. Love don't live here anymore. Live here anymore. Love don't live here anymore. Don't live here anymore. No, no, you don't live here anymore. You abandoned me. Love don't live here anymore. No, it don't live here anymore. Love don't live here anymore. You don't live here anymore.
Yeah. Give it up for the vocals on that one. Damn. That's got to be the most showing off of her vocals I think I've heard up to this point, and I loved it. That was my favorite so far, absolutely. Just a completely different sound, slowed it down a lot. It's a song about obviously grieving over a love that ended. She talks about the loneliness inside of me. Why'd you have to go away? Missing this person, all of that. So great subject matter. The lyrics are still a little bit simple, but damn, talk about the showcase of her voice, and also great drums on this. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. It's a slower one. It's a sad one, but I can get into sad music. That's gonna be some of my favorite. Is sad music. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Um, Cash says this is a smoky bar song. If I've ever heard one, yeah, totally walking into a smoky bar. Yeah. People are saying this is a cover. John and Cash Wednesday sang it to cover. The song was originally done by Rose Royce in '78. Show Madonna does have vocal talent. Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with being a cover. I think that how do you do it? What's your spin on it? I've never heard that original, but even if it wasn't drastically different, instrumentation or whatever, it's like we get to hear Madonna's vocals on it. So, yeah, I enjoyed that. That's how side A ends. Yeah, it's a good ending. Good ending to side A. Okay, here we go. Track number 6, "Dress You Up." I wonder, are we gonna go back to a more upbeat Material Girl type track after that? We keeping it slow. Let's see. "Dress You Up." Back to the synths.
You got style, that's what all the girls say. Satin sheets and luxury so fine. All your suits are custom made in London.
Oh, another rich guy she's talking about.
Something that you really
Hey, all right. Ooh, guitar solo? That was a nice unexpected guitar solo. All right. That was "Dress You Up." I got to say the sound and everything, it definitely fits in line with like the earlier on in the album Material Girl Angel, like a version over and over, but not similar to Love Don't Live Here Anymore. However, of the first half of this album where I said like that kind of sound was all similar, I think "Dress You Up" is definitely the best of those tracks. I really enjoyed that. I also like the kind of theme of the song and the idea of this probably rich guy she's seeing or talking to. He's stylish. He has really nice clothes, good style. Everyone knows that about him. But you know what? I'm going to dress you up with my love, and it's going to be even better for you, made just for you, better than all of these nice, fancy clothes that you have. It's nice. It's unique. I like that because I see "Dress You Up." I'm thinking, obviously from a clothing aspect, but flipping that on its head. Yeah, I really like that track. I also love the guitar solo in there. John pointed out that was Nile Rodgers who produced and also played the guitar. I really like that. So yeah, that was up there for me for sure, a highlight so far. All right, we got 3 tracks left. Up next, here we go. "Shooby Doo" is the name, and at 5 minutes 18 seconds, this is the longest track on the album. Let's give it a listen. Is this a ballad?
When I look in your eyes, baby, here's what I see. I see so much confusion,
I hope we get another showcase of her vocals here.
and it's killing me.
Oh, okay.
Well, I can't take it anymore.
Ooh, I like that. I like that cadence. Open any door. Can't take it anymore. Dooby dooby doo. Instantly catchy. Shooby dooby doo.
Come here, baby.
Oh, here we go. Saxophone coming in. Someone get the graph. Where are the graph emojis? Graph going up. Stocks going up when you get the saxophone. Here we go. Take us out with that sax. All right. Wow, you talk about what a turnaround. I mean, those first four tracks after track 4, I was honestly thinking, I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, this isn't bad or anything, but I'm like, maybe this one just won't be for me personally. And then these last 3 tracks, some of my favorite Madonna tracks of either album so far. I loved that one too. So quite a turnaround for me personally. Again, not that it was bad earlier on, but just for more so what I've been into. I've connected with all 3 of these last tracks. So we'll see how the last 2 go here. But Shooby Doo, man, I love that. It was catchy. For anyone that doesn't know, saxophone is like my favorite instrument, and anytime you involve that, it's gonna make me like it more. But it was a nice, easy song about being in love, and it was interesting. Of like, she sees so much confusion. It's kind of like, I can't take this anymore. You know, basically just accept this love. I don't want to be alone. But just that catchy, shooby dooby doo, shooby dooby doo. I'll be saying that all day. I enjoyed it. Okay, it is time for the penultimate track on the album, Pretender. Let's give it a listen.
He's a pretender. He knows just what to say. He's a pretender. Yeah, you meet him every day. He's a pretender. Like fish that got away. He's a pretender. Why'd I fall in love? It was so strange the way he held my hand. I wanted more than just a one-night stand. He had a way of making me believe that he was mine and that he'd never leave.
Is this like the 80s version of getting ghosted?
He's a pretender, that fish that got away. He's a pretender. Why'd I fall in love? I like the way he moved across the floor.
So she's getting played. She's getting played by this guy.
I'm not afraid to fall 100 times, and I'll believe in all your silly lies. I'd like to think that I could change your mind. Don't say that I am blind.
Ooh.
You lied, you lied, you lied. He's a pretender. Why'd I fall in love?
It happens to everyone. All right. Zane here in my chat said, Josh, our first album was made for the clubs. This album was made for the radio. Yeah, I definitely am getting that feeling. And there's nothing wrong with that. Um, I wasn't around in the 80s, so I don't know what the radio was like. But nothing wrong with that. The songs are a bit long. I wonder if they must have had radio edits. Um, but yeah, this is another one I would throw on the list with the earlier side of the album. Not bad, perfectly listenable, but didn't really connect with it that much personally. But we got one more track left, Stay, the last track on the album. And so let's see if this will be in that group of the ones I've really liked or not. Stay. I gotta say, most of these tracks all have a very interesting, unique opening, instrumentally.
You make my life much brighter. You're always on my mind. You make my load much lighter. True love is hard to find. Sometimes I feel I have to get away. I change my mind when I look in your eyes, and when those clouds come in and try to darken our day. I always want you to stay, stay, darling. Stay, darling. Stay, darling. You know you got to stay, darling. It's so hard to find. Don't be afraid.
Oh, we're getting some spoken.
It's gonna be alright. 'Cause I know that I can make you love me, love me, love me, love me. Stay, darling. Stay, darling. And then we can
Haha.
you know you got to stay. About your night and day. You know you got to stay. Make you love me, 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 love me.
Okay, and that was Stay, the final track on Like a Virgin, the 1984 sophomore album from Madonna. Zane said in the chat, Madonna scatting was not on Josh's bingo card. No, it was not. No, it was not. But I enjoyed it. Shooby Doo and Scooby Dee Bop. Yeah, that's nice. All right. So first, I gotta say, I usually do a top three when I listen to these albums, and for me, this top three is so insanely clear because it's the three tracks that I really enjoyed on the album. So let me try to put them in order here. Number three would probably be "Dress You Up." Then number two would be "Shooby Doo." And my favorite track on the album absolutely is Love Don't Live Here Anymore. The most different track of any of the others on the album, really showcased Madonna's vocals. I don't really care that it's a cover. That's not something that really bothers me or goes into, considering what I enjoy. And the drums on that were really good. Um, I believe that was at the one with I don't know if that was the one with the guitar solo or not. I don't think so. But the instrumentation on that all around, I really enjoyed. So that's definitely my favorite track. But yeah, Love Don't Live Here Anymore is number favorite. Shooby Doo number two, and Dress You Up number three. After that, Material Girl is obviously a good, nice pop song, but the rest of these tracks I felt were just fine. They were just fine. I would say that the debut album is definitely more my preference if I was comparing the two, but there weren't any tracks on this album that I thought were bad or that I thought they were all just kind of that same level of they were fine. Um, Someone in the chat, it might have been John or Zane, I'm sorry, I don't remember who said it, but about this album being more for the radio. There's nothing wrong with that, but I just felt it was a very kind of simple, same sound throughout the whole thing. And for me personally, I get invested when something gives me a little bit more than that. But again, I think what the result is that you end up with an album that has a very high floor, but a low ceiling. That's how I feel about this. It's just all solid, and then there was a few tracks I really enjoyed. But on a 9 track list, that's not, you can't really ask for much more. I will say, listening to Into the Groove before this may have set me up a little bit for failure, in the sense that I like Into the Groove more than any of the tracks on this album, which makes it very interesting that Into the Groove is what doesn't make the album. Because I thought that was an excellent track. If you didn't see my reaction to that, that's available. But overall, I enjoyed it. There's a few tracks I'm definitely going to listen to again. But I think the debut album is still the one to beat when it comes to Madonna for me as I continue on in this journey. Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think all these songs are masterpieces? Let me know. Or do you agree with me? Uh, Maybe you have some other tracks that are your favorites from this one. Please let me know. I love the discussion. I love the different opinions. And just remember, at the end of the day, I'm just a guy listening to music. It's not that serious. But I've enjoyed listening to Madonna here today. I'm going to continue. True Blue is her next album that I'll be listening to. So you can check out all of my music reactions live, where you can talk to me instantly as we listen to it, as well as watch the full uncut reaction afterwards over on the Patreon. You can check that out. And I will see you next time.